We're back, and as many of you may know, November is African History Month, and in the lead up to it, we are having a conversation with members of the Holy Qubtic Church, and with me is Job Gums, who is an emissary of the church, and Dr. Shirlene Chase, also a member of the church. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. First of all, tell me about the Holy Qubtic Church. This is one faith that I've not come across at all. So share with me a bit about it.
Well, it's the Holy Qubtic Church.
Qubtic.
Qubtic, not to be confused with Qubtic.
Right.
And we're an African teaching church.
Right.
We are not just about belief, we're about knowing. Because it says, and you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So that's it in a nutshell.
Okay.
I don't know if Job wants to add anything else.
Well, the Holy Qubtic Church, as your sister just said, is not Coptic, but it's Qubtic. And the Holy Qubtic Church, when they use the word Qubtic, it's from the origin of the word Qubt. And the word Qubt means axis or central point, which is what Africa is, and we'll say again was, to the world, in terms of information, science, engineering, technology, medicine, where all come learn, took that which they learned, borrowed, and carried back to their lands of origin, where they eventually civilized themselves. However, when they say Coptic Church, you're talking about the first church after Christ.
Right.
As the Ethiopian Coptic Church and so on. When we're talking about the Qubtic Church, we're talking about the church of the three wise men. Because see, the three wise men come, they were the ones that actually were charting the stars looking for the Messiah. Today people are looking for the Messiah.
Right.
But the three wise men, they were looking for the Messiah before the birth of the Messiah. So that original church, they were actually looking for, they were actually, that was the African teaching church.
Right.
And as time went by, bits and pieces was grabbed and borrowed as the Romans took control of it, and they borrowed bits and pieces where we have what we have as monotheistic Christianity, Judaism, and Islam borrowing from it. So a lot of people come in and they say, well, Africa didn't have no culture.
Right.
Or didn't have, or if it's Africa, they say, well, that's pagan.
Right.
Not realizing that African Christianity predates what they call in the European versions or European teachings.
And how large is the church in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, it's now developing, it's in its now
infancy.
Yes,
Yes,
infancy
okay.
stage. Yeah.
And tell us about the relation between the Holy Qubtic Church and African History Month.
Well, as an African teaching church, we are always looking to do seminars, discussions, workshops. We have a lot of question and answer sessions. And for African History Month in November, well, we actually start on Saturday. We're going through doing a series, and the theme is Africans Were Not Pagans. So that's how we're related to African History Month and the Holy Qubtic Church. Now, incidentally, this is an international body. We're small in Trinidad. We're now starting, well, not really now starting. It's been around for more than 18 years we've been around.
In Trinidad.
In Trinidad.
So it's not in its infancy, really.
Infancy in terms of coming together and actually establishing a place of worship and all of that.
Okay.
Yes, infancy.
Okay.
But they have been here. We have our branches in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. We have in the U.S., Florida, South Carolina, and also in Africa.
Let's go back to the concept of Africans are not pagans, because there seems to be some level of taboo or fear of discussing anything African, and a misunderstanding sometimes of what is African.
Yes.
So what are some of the what's the narrative that you will be discussing when you go through the topic Africans are not pagans?
Well, like we said, the Church of the Three Wise Men, no one ever asked what made the wise men wise, but they were astronomers. They came from a school of astronomers, but they were not only astronomers, they were agriculturists, biologists, different types of scientists within their society. And because they were at the pinnacle, they were able to chart the stars using solar biology and tell when the birth of the Messiah would be, where he would be, and what he would need to do. Now, in terms of Africans not being pagans, every time you hear Africa or pagan, you think of somebody with a bone through their nose running around with a grass skirt, topless. We're not saying that that doesn't exist, but in 1885 to 86, there we had the Berlin Conference where they actually split Africa, where we had 14 countries, which actually split Africa, and that's right in 1884, between 1884 86. What we had then was the Europeans going in and seeing great cities. There's the Benin Wall, which they speak about. There are other great cities which had electricity, garbage collection systems, paved roads. We had cesarean sections, we had brain surgeries, we had prosthetic limbs at that time. And there's always a sense that, well, I just had a group of people running around in the bush, wearing grass skirts, saying ooga mooga and eating one another. And that is far from the real narrative.
And how is this education going to filter through? Because I suspect a number of young people need to hear this sort of information. How is it going to filter through?
Right, and that's what we are working on now, where, of course, we have the church with the question and answer classes, and also we are reaching to the various communities, the community centers, right? But right now we have a program, thanks to Shirlene and her help.
Yeah.
We actually have a program where the various libraries and the various community centers in various communities, we actually having the Africans who are not pagans, where we're inviting these schools, secondary school children to actually come in while we go through from community to community.
Oh,
actually,
wonderful.
yeah.
So how can persons get involved how do they contact you if they wanted to either attend or perhaps invite you to their community or to their school?
Well, first of all, I'll give you the dates and the times for the different events. The first event we have is Saturday, the 5th of October, from 10 a.m. to noon, and that's at the Barataria Community Library, where we have a question and answer, a discussion followed by a question and answer session. Next week, during the week, we actually have a secondary school session. We're partnering with the Mount Lambert, Mount Hope Community Library and the Mount Hope Secondary School for that one, and that's actually school-based and within the day. On the 19th of October, we have Sandy Grande Public Library, and we also have, on the 23rd of November, Maloney Public Library.
Yes.
We also have a Arima Public Library and Tunapuna Public Library, but I still have to confirm those dates.
Is there somewhere, because I know people are hearing Arima, Maloney, and they're thinking, okay, I need to find this, it's in my area. Is there one central location, Facebook or so, that persons can go and find all this information?
Well, we actually, the other brother was supposed to be here, Anthony.
Is Anthony here? Let's get Anthony in. Come in, Anthony.
Yes,
Anthony is here.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so very quickly, no mic. Okay, so Anthony has that information.
Yes.
So we'll get that information from Anthony before
Well,
the
you
end
can-
of the
if you
show.
if you wish to contact us, you may
Yes.
call 359
Yes.
9087
Yeah.
or 396
Yes.
3628. That's in order to
368.
contact.
Okay,
have
so I
contact
think
with us.
that would work. 359-9087 or 396-3628 if you want to get more information on the Holy Qubtic Church, particularly with regard to the sessions on Africans are not pagans. Very profound. And I want to thank you so much for joining us here this morning. We could keep this conversation going. There's so much
Yes, we can.
education, particularly to come from Dr. Shirlene Chase, as well as Job Combs, emissary. I want to say good morning to Anthony Clavery, who is the head emissary with the Holy Qubtic Church as well.